Welcome to yesPHX Presents. My name is Katie Sieker, and today we're shooting at the studios at Mesa City Center, and we're welcoming two of our friends and partners, collaborators really, on the rebrand of yesPHX 2.0. And I'm really excited for this conversation because we worked really close together. It was an extension of our team for many months. And I'm also just really proud with what we built together. So we'll get into that conversation today. I'm really excited to welcome Emily Soccorsy from Root and River and Spencer Ramirez, Creative Director from Oxy, both of the partners that helped us bring yesPHX 2.0 to our community. So first, I guess I'll start with you, Emily. You're the owner and the principal brand strategist at Root and River. You founded the company in 2016. We got to have an inside look at your mojo, and it was really, really a beautiful experience. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Great. And then Spencer, we have communicated a lot.
Yes.
Anthony, the founder, he had a childcare issue, so here we are.
Here we are. We're one and the same.
Same, right?
Yeah.
So Oxy was created in 2018. It's a creative agency located in Phoenix. You have an awesome office.
Thank you.
That we've parked at too.
Yes.
So we'll get into all of the creative juice that you sprinkled onto our project in just a bit. But
Cool.
First, I wanted to talk to you both about the evolution of your companies and how you've gotten to a place where you could donate all this time and energy to a community organization like ours. And I like to start with authenticity and vulnerability, because if you've been around the block as many times as you have, then I'm a Ben woman. I bet you have that. Maybe just kick us off a little bit with your biggest win, thing you're most proud about. I guess those could be two separate things. Biggest win. And then your biggest learning opportunity. And Emily, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think those are two separate things for me when you said that. Because by far the thing I'm most proud of is the team that we have at Root and River. So we're a brand strategy team. We work really closely with one another and also with our clients, and love to become part of their team. We feel that each client is like us. There's very little distance between. And so as anyone who runs a business knows, it's all about the people. And I certainly underestimated that when I began. And the team's gone through evolutions and kind of remade the team in 2022 after I bought out my original business partner. So the work that they do, the care that they give, the excellence that they pursue, and the way we trust one another, that's got to be the thing I'm most proud of. And then as an output of that is the work that we do for our clients. I think biggest win, just technically from a business perspective, was about 5 years ago, was like winning our first client that was like the total engagement was over $1 million. And I led that meeting and I pitched that number, which was huge and scary at the time. And being able to have them come back and say, yes, let's do it, let's go. And sure, the money is nice, but that wasn't the thing. It was being able to hold to value, to express that, to accurately represent the value that we were going to bring, and to have another company say, I see that, I want to support it, and let's work together. So I think when I look back, I'm still really proud of that courage that moment took, and then also the work that we were able to do. And always, in every engagement, it's also about the lessons that you learn along the way. So I know that was sort of rambling, but all of those things come together when I consider our wins and what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. How did you get yourself amped to ask for that? Did you like some Rocky stuff out and, push-ups or sit-ups or something?
Gosh, I love Rocky. You mentioned you hit on goal. I think at the time, I first of all, I generally I'm a word person, so numbers are not necessarily my strength. I really need to sit down and get them all down. So I spent a couple weeks preparing, making sure that I had all of them in my head. They tend to get up and run away inside of my brain. So once I felt I had that down, then it was a matter of just visualizing it, believing it, and being able to kind of, you use the fake it till you make it approach in those moments, I think. Mm-hmm. But the other part of that is just being able to see it come to life in your mind's eye. So I think it was a combination of that. And yeah, probably a little Lady Gaga, probably a little Eye of the Tiger. I wouldn't deny that, yeah.
I'm sure you've been in similar positions since then. Is it easier or still difficult?
It's easier.
Okay.
I think it's gotten easier over the years. And I also equate it to just, I know how much we give to our clients from a heart perspective, from an intellect perspective, from an experience perspective. So that makes it a lot easier. Like, I know I will bleed for this client. So I have no problem. I have less of a problem now looking at those big numbers or conveying the value. And I do think it gets easier. So if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, it gets easier. Just keep at it.
Yeah, for sure.
What about your biggest mistake, lesson, learn up, fuck up, whatever you want to call?
Oh, there's just so many. And I think our negativity bias makes those kind of come to mind really fast. I think probably just not, I think in the early stages, one of my first mess ups was just thinking that my business partner at the time is going to handle all the financials and not really getting into that at first in the business. And I learned quickly, no, I needed to be engaged fully in that. And I kind of avoided it because it's not a weakness, but it was just something I don't focus on. So that was a fuck up at first. And I mean, over the years, I've had tons of hey, let's create this thing. Mm-hmm. And then, you get all the way through the creation process and you've run out of gas to actually execute the thing or market the thing. So that's been a lesson that I've repeatedly made over the years. And so it's, as a creative, and I wonder, Spencer, what you think of this, but as a creative, we have to be careful about where we're spending our creative energy. And also, as you get more experienced in the assertion of those energies, knowing that there are other parts and pieces that need to be attended to and thought about. So I think that's a kind of a recurring something I'm building lessons upon. Because, and then in the past, it's just oh, well, that didn't work. Screw it. We screwed up. No, not really. I think we just didn't see the bend in the road and we didn't plan for it. So I think you learn that over time. It's certainly something that I've learned. And sometimes those ideas can be recycled or revisited. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing and really being comprehensive with how you're planning and how you're planning to create.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, I think we're constantly as an agency we would say we're kind of looking at film like a team or something after every project.
Yeah.
The retrospective process of it to really we're constantly, tightening up how we do things, making sure that, every single step in the process is not only the right step, but that we're asking the right questions. And so, yeah, as a creative, for sure, I'm always kind of, I don't want to say head in the clouds because that's not it, but I'm always thinking at a higher, a creative level, a higher level. And so, I think part of it is the process. For us, it's a huge part. Process is a huge part of making sure that those things don't, go overlooked. But, to kind of bring it all home, I do think it's putting faith and trust in your collaborators as well, which we're lucky to have a lot, and Emily's definitely one of them. We're working on a large group of number of projects right now together, keeping each other busy. And so, it's figuring out how to pass the baton and trust the collaborators that you have, in your circle and hope that they have that same trust in you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about the biggest win for Oxy?
I mean, honestly, I think our biggest win is that we've really amassed an awesome team, not only from Phoenix, but from all over the country, actually the world. We have designers kind of all over at this point, full-time, part-time. And crazily enough, we have little to no turnover.
Yeah.
I still honestly can't figure out how that is. I'm always bracing for impact. But I think that's a huge win. And hopefully it's the culture. It's, the hour every week that we take to just hop on Zoom and literally play games together, whatever it is, building that culture, being there for each other, both in work and out of work. We've just built a really cool culture, and that's something we're really proud of. And really, I think also just scratching the surface. There's so many parts of the business that we're really really, really started to dig our heels into and get serious about. Whereas we've been so fortunate to have a lot of amazing projects kind of come our way. Now it's like, all right, let's go on the offense. Let's go find those things we want to do. And I think we're starting to really kind of dig into that era, which I'm excited about. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I just see on social media you guys were filming at LinkedIn?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, one is amazing. I mean, their campuses are all over the world, and we have like a really awesome partnership with them in multiple capacities, but that one specifically, obviously we're kind of a product first agency. We really focus on apps, websites, digital experiences, but my background and a lot of the people at the agencies background is in photo and video and just kind of that creative side of production. And so this is an opportunity for us to kind of come into the workplace ecosystem at LinkedIn and look at how they're talking about all of these incredible campuses that they have all around the world. Crazily enough, they don't really to this point do a whole lot of capturing of the renovation process or the building or kind of as people are now stepping into that office, how to utilize it to the best, all these incredible amenities that they worked on. So anyways, that's what we've really been working closely with them on. Probably the most intimate project I'm working on currently with our team is that whole scope of things. So yeah, traveling all around the world, going to all kinds of LinkedIn offices and trying to show the world how beautiful they are. Yeah.
I think Anthony told me that you guys got that connection through yesPHX. Is that right?
Yes. So I believe.
Yeah. That's what I'm recalling.
Yes, yeah. That is correct. So if it is I believe it's Toby, his name, who is still a partner with us now. We work together on multiple projects, building stuff together. He's actually working with us on LinkedIn capacity as well. But yeah, came through yesPHX. And so one of many.
Yes. Amazing.
Yeah.
What about your biggest mistake or fuck up?
I think, I don't know if it's a mistake. A couple things that come to mind is the fact that, there have definitely been projects where we always like to have projects where we're giving our services to something that we believe in that might not be able to at that stage, afford kind of the full fleet of services. We like to come in and, try and build something for them, right? And so there have obviously been a lot of wins. I think optimistically, we've had some of our best work and our best opportunity come from giving our services away. But obviously, there have been some duds along the way. But, it's an opportunity for us to really kind of, take the money off the table and be let's go build something crazy. And if you don't want to build it crazy like we do, then that's okay. We'll just go do something else, So that, and then again, I think it's the fact that we've been so focused on the creative and building these amazing products kind of with a core group, a core team at Oxy, that there's so much kind of outbound work for us to get into. And honestly, we've just been so focused on everything on our plate that we haven't really thought about that yet. And so thankfully, we have some people on the team now who are really focused on business development, focused on, getting in those rooms, getting those RFPs, really kind of leveling up in a sense. And so we're really excited about that. And yeah, on one hand, it's what did we miss out on? We're not really focusing on that. And we're just focused on the future and the work that we can do. So, yeah.
Those are both great answers. And honestly, sitting here just listening to you is a perfect depiction of who you are as people and what it's like to work with you. So I'm super pleased because
awesome.
As you listen, these are who these people are. It's great. So let's pivot a little bit to talking about Phoenix and the ecosystem here. I'd love to know why you're building your companies in Phoenix, how you made that decision and why. And also maybe just sprinkle in there a little bit about your experience with the community and how you're thinking about the evolution, because we have grown up and there's been a lot of change and growth.
Yep.
You want to start?
Definitely, yeah. No, I mean, I say first answer is why not? Why not Phoenix? Why not build it here? I mean, the core team is from here. So there's, we've wanted this to work. And I think collectively, and independently, we all want to do our best work here. That's intentional. I left, went to LA for 8 years, came back. Same with Joe, who was on this project as well. Our operations manager went to LA, worked on kind of every crazy movie poster you've seen in the last 10 years, came back, and now we're at Oxy together, right? Anthony as well, kind of going and doing the Y Combinator stuff and then coming back. So there's something that always brings us back. And ultimately, I think it's actually this collective community that I, of course, find in yesPHX. But that's one kind of community that really, it's this greater collective. I have a business. We have a spot downtown in Roosevelt Row. The change in that over the past 5-10 years, I've literally been kind of boots on the ground seeing that happen. And so I want to be here for the cool stuff. You know what I mean? I want to be here when it's good. And also being a digital company, we are able to work with some of the biggest brands in the world. We have clients right now in, the Bay, LA, New York, London. It doesn't matter. We can do it from here. So why not?
Remember when downtown Phoenix, you never went there, and especially not past 5 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No
and
way.
then now it's just bumping.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It's amazing. It's amazing. So it's that, and then it's definitely this talent pool. We've had amazing hires locally, straight out of NAU, out of ASU, people who we've met through yesPHX, and I don't think that's going to stop or slow down. So we're fully bought in.
Cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Any thoughts on the evolution?
Well,
community?
I think it's interesting. I think when we all met first, it's kind of that discussion of we're starting to see multinational companies come in, make big investments. I think that obviously the population density is here, the money is here now more than ever. And so, yeah, I think for the future, we kind of see our job as the agency is to make these connections with these larger brands to bring that money back to here into the eyes back to Phoenix because, if we're competing against all these agencies, sometimes I think it's actually kind of a plus when they're like, wait a minute, this agency's from Phoenix and they work with these brands and they do this. So I think whatever your idea is, it doesn't matter if it's creative or whatever, any business idea, any creative venture, I think you have more room to breathe out here. And there's a community of people that just want to support. They're ready to support. They're on board. They just want something to kind of be excited about.
Yep.
And so I think that's going to grow, for years to come.
Yeah. Do you get I get these on calls all the time from people that live other places and they just go, what is going on in Phoenix?
Yes.
I love that. It's a little pride.
And it's every time they come here, they have their first trip. And by the end of the trip, they're always they always say without fail, I did not expect it to be like this, but, and, usually say some positive things. So that's one interesting thing. I do think it takes coming here and experiencing it and seeing that community and living in it where you can go to a restaurant, go to a coffee shop and run into people. And it's people are wait, I don't have that. I don't.
Yeah. It's a small town feel.
Yeah.
I often say to people, there's probably just about 200 people that you need to know and you're fully connected.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Emily, what about you? What do you think about the evolution of the community and why Root and River is here?
Well, I grew up here. This is home.
A native.
Wasn't born here.
Okay.
Moved here when I was 5.
Okay, you get credit.
So 5.5. My husband moved here at 2, so he grew up here. His family is here. We're been community people. We just believe in community, and it's important to represent. It's important to represent where you're from and your roots, which I'm big on roots, as you might have guessed. My company. It's really incumbent upon us, I feel, that to give back to where we were grown. And that starts with just believing in the community that you come from. And so I've really been excited about this next evolution, always excited actually throughout my life to see the evolutions and the growth of the community. Some people get to be crabby naysayers about that and they only see the bad things, but I only see sure there's bad things, but I mostly see the positive things and the fact that this is Phoenix. I often say Phoenix is the biggest small town.
Yes.
And I think actually after my husband and I got married and his family was super involved in the community. So anywhere we go, that somebody knows him or his brother or his dad or his mom. And that kind of feeling, it kind of tucks you in. It gives you meaning. And then the question is, how can I contribute? And I think from a creative standpoint, there is an attitude here of collaboration, of openness. And for people who choose to come to Phoenix, which is a lot of people, they come seeking something different. They come with an independent spirit in their heart and in their hopes. And so I think when they arrive, they want to try new things. They want to connect in a different way that maybe if they're going to more established, older cities, that they would perhaps not have that same feeling. They're really seeking this community out for that. I think it's something that draws people here. And so I think how we've evolved to embrace that, and because that's also just in the roots of being from the West and being from the Southwest, being from Arizona, is there's this sense of like, we're here to do our own thing, and we're here to like help each other and collaborate so we can we're hungry, we want to get to that next level of evolution together. And we understand that it has to be a collective thing. It feels like, I know I'm speaking in very broad strokes, but this is really, when I try to describe Arizona to people who don't understand it, I just say we have such an independent spirit, but we really want to work together too at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is unique to hear. Why did you both want to help on this project? And then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the project.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of anything community, as we've all, I think, discussed at this point. This one particularly is like, truthfully, I loved my position in this because Anthony was so ingrained, had so many positive experiences, hyped it up so much. And even coming on, it was like something that he talked about day one when I was there, of like, we're going to do this at some point. We're going to help them and just contribute, figure out a way that we can contribute. I think that, the community's given, the yesPHX community has given so much to Oxy as an agency. Like, it's, one of the huge reasons I think why the agency is even around, founded back in 2018 after Anthony was at a startup accelerator called Coplex, and kind of left there, was like, let's build the biggest, baddest agency in the desert, and that was his community. And so, I mean, it's natural to obviously want to be part of the fabric further than just going to the very highly anticipated events, And so, yeah, I think it was just at like an amazing time where, we've talked about the city and how it's changing or evolving. I could say the same, I think, after this project for yesPHX. And so kind of this convergence of a beautiful time to take what we do best and collaborate with Emily and kind of do it all together and try and make something that is going to, again, be able to kind of step into those shoes of like, what's Arizona going to be moving forward? And as this platform has a wider reach and more eyes on it than ever, how can we not blur the lines, how can we blend being as approachable and comforting as possible, but also making sure that it has a finger on the pulse?
Yeah. Yeah. Emily, what about you? Why did you want to jump in?
Anthony called me and described what was going on, and I was immediately excited. I felt like a debt of gratitude for everything that I had already received from yesPHX, and so I was like, oh yeah, I like want to pay it back and pay it forward and work with Oxy and have a chance to collaborate with them, because we jump at the chance to do that every single time. And I think there's this other thing that, brands are born in conversations, and our favorite clients are those people who want to be the convener of the important conversation. And so as we kind of worked into it, that's kind of one question I always ask is like, how bold do you want to be? How willing are you to like call? And I knew from knowing you that you were willing to be very authentic and to say the real harsh truth. And so I was intrigued by that and the opportunity to bring that out and to not only pay it forward, but to have a chance to cultivate those conversations, or at least help you bring those to the fore.
It was so fun. It was so fun. honestly, the rebrand project was way overdue, and I was slow to do it because I was overwhelmed with how ominous that project would be. And so the story goes, we were at one of our yesPHX, I believe it was the summer social,
Yep.
and Anthony came up to Vincent and I and was like, I want to help. I want to give back. This has been amazing to me. I'll give you a new website. And I was like, oh, well, shit, now I can't.
Sometimes you need
Yeah, exactly. So it was a couple months later, and, we got introduced as a team. We had a couple, brainstorm sessions. And then we ended up at your office on a Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Emily just did her thing. And I, of course, you walk in, there's sticky notes, and you're like, okay, it's a brand.
Yeah.
No, this is a different thing. And that was such an eye-opening and experience for me. And it was a growth opportunity. Like, I learned a lot from you that day. We took all the juiciness back, and then you guys started working. So I'm paraphrasing for the audience of what happened.
Yeah.
But I would love to know your experience through the process, and kind of, as we sort of grew and ebbed and flowed, because we were challenging each other. Like
Totally.
we were really challenging each other at points. What did you feel like the things that were important to you ended up at the end in the outcome, or maybe just talk in general about your experience?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, very happy with the end result. And I think the coolest thing for me in the process, like, again, like I kind of started to say when I was coming into this, like that summer social was actually my first yesPHX event. Ended up running into people that I knew around town, not even understanding that we both were at this thing for, different and the same reasons. And so got to see firsthand, like, really what Anthony was hyping up for so long. Finally meet everyone and kind of make this thing, the train left the station at that point. And yeah, from there, like, I kind of appreciated being able to come in with a fresh set of eyes. And I wanted to be that point of view of somebody that's just seeing it kind of for the first time and come through that experience while, like, there was such history in the room with everybody else. And so I think that really, like, kind of lent to a very, like, fresh, kind of obviously modern approach to the entire website, the brand. But it's always important for me to not also disregard everything you had built prior to that, because it's so special to so many people, and now me as well. And so it's honoring that, but saying, like, how can we bring it into today and the future? And I'm very, very happy with the outcome.
I thought the group we had was, like, the raddest group of people that, we had a couple of dudes in there that, like, had just moved here, right? They had no idea. Yeah. We had you who had some experience and was learning. And then we had people that had been around the block, a board member, couple, randos. And, I didn't build it, right? I was given it because I was given it. And, I've kept it kind of going. So I was, didn't have all the answers either, so it was an evolution process of somebody else's work and other people's first opinions.
Yes.
And then a consensus building of what it could be and who it did serve. Emily, what were your thoughts?
It was fast. I think, like, Anthony called me the week before. And so I was like,
we do that a lot of times.
Yeah. Usually when my phone rings and it's Anthony, I'm like,
we're like, what are you doing?
Buckle up. Here we go. Anthony, the answer is going to be yes, but when?
How far along
yes.
are you?
But actually, we like to come into those moments with the curse of ignorance as much as we can. It's actually a blessing for us, because even though I had some experience, Chris, who is another brand strategist on our team, didn't have as much awareness of yesPHX. And we also want to set up an environment where we are digging into the roots. Obviously, the history is important, but we are exploring what exists today and honor the fact that, yes, it was given to you, but you took it.
I did take it.
And you are leading it forward. So it's this blend, it's this dance. and we called these sessions a root session, at least the portion that we led. And so it is a deep dive into the soul of the brand, and that is present, and that is past, and that is vision for the future. So, it comes as a surprise the way that experience unfolds. It's not a traditional like Q&A. It's very interactive. It's very deep. People cry. And that means we're getting the good stuff.
Yes.
And we can formulate it in the room. It's not like we go away and go to our little cave and come up with things and then present it back to you. It happens in the room. I'm always nervous. This is like however many years on, almost 9 years. I always get nervous, and I think that's a good sign because we're inviting magic to happen. And there's always moments of doubt. And there were that day where I think I had to step out for a call. And when I came back, and then Chris was like, thank God you came back. Things were like going in a weird direction. And we, redirected. But all of that is part of the journey, and all that's important. And so it's a pleasure to be in the messy middle with clients and just to be facilitating that excavation of the brand. I loved it. It's challenging because there's so many, for this brand, there's so many constituencies and so many people who care so much. And so that presents a lot of good challenges.
The word choices were difficult, but I think we got it.
Yeah.
And I also loved specifically about the brand or the design. We tried some stuff, right?
Yeah.
We were like, this is not what we want to do, the thing that's like coming, and like, how do we want this flow to be? And that was like really exciting to me. So I appreciated that a lot.
I try and do that at that stage for sure. And any project is like, and Anthony and I go back and forth internally. We go back and forth with the clients. It's like, my job is to push the limits. You can always scale me back.
Yes.
But if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing my job. And so I was also, honestly, you guys were one of the teams and clients that also are collaborators that allowed us to really be like, yeah, go do it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times it's like, I'm going to go crazy. You're going to dial us back 50%. But there was trust there.
25% more,
yeah,
please.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So that plus like the word catalyst, thanks to Emily, is constantly just stuck. And I think that, I don't know, that was really like a defining kind of moment, just even that headline, and really kind of shaped everything. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to acknowledge, you were talking earlier about one of the things that you felt like you did, the biggest wins that you had, and you were talking about your team, and I just want to acknowledge, like, my experience. I worked with a lot of design teams, and my experience working with Oxy specifically was, I perceive you at your team as like one of the most grounded teams. You're so nice. I felt clarity of communication, unlike, maybe top 3 vendors I've ever worked with in my career, right?
Amazing.
We always knew what was going on.
Yep.
Accommodating, accepting, push back when it made sense in a respectful way. It went way better. Like, I felt sad when it was over, right?
Yeah. It felt like summer camp was
it was
over or
like,
something.
we launched it at the end of April, and then I was like, well, no.
I know.
Maybe I'll come and bring Chipotle and we'll
Nice.
reminisce.
Yep. We just got a new office, so you got to come check that one out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same with you, Emily. That design or that brand session that we did, I've done a dozen of those in my career, and again, it was just a whole other thing. At the end, I was so exhausted and yet so hopeful at the same time. That was a day well spent, and it was also a joy to see how it translated into the actual website. Yep. We have more stuff coming, that we're going to be working on, and we just put our swag marketplace up there, thanks to the team at Sprouter, and more collaborations and more support of our yesPHX community, and it just is really fun and amazing. So thank you, both of you, for your countless hours and talents to bring yesPHX 2.0, yesPHX.com. And anything else you wanna mention before we wrap for the day?
I'll shout out Root and River one more time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I didn't really get to sneak it in there, but like I've been floored from the process, and like it makes me think about everybody else that considers themselves brand strategists. I'm like, but you don't have it like this.
Yeah,
you know? Like, you don't do the process they do, and it opened up like a whole new world. So even through this process, it's one of the first like fully intensive projects we got to do together. So
Yeah.
personally, I was really excited about it, and yeah, thanks to everybody on the team.
You guys are like a dream team together. Like I'm so glad to hear that you're continuing collaboration because for real, like the aesthetic and it's amazing.
It's so fun to collaborate, and we need to thank you for that opportunity.
Of course,
like when
sure.
yesPHX came along, Anthony's like, "This is the moment we've been waiting for," and I'm like, "Okay," because we're kind of looking for that perfect project to really kind of throw it all in. And so thank you for
awesome.
allowing us to do it, trusting us with your brand.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was way better than I thought it would be on all verticals. So another example of just lean in and let it happen, right?
Yeah. Trust.
Yep.
Got it.
Cool. Thanks so much for your time. That'll be a wrap for today. If you like this, please hit like or subscribe to yesPHX Presents. And also, just a reminder, Phoenix Startup Week is coming November 12th through the 14th to the studios at Mesa City Center. So go to phxstartupweek.com for more information. And thanks for your time.